So today we're going to be talking about the dot product. Here I have an example. It's two vectors, vectors A and vector B, written out as follows. And so the dot product between vector A and vector B would be A sub 1 times B sub 1 plus A sub 2 times B sub 2 plus A sub 3 times B sub 3. One thing I wanted to mention is that this is going to equal a numerical misspelled that. It's going to equal a numerical answer. Now, most other things you do with two vectors, it's going to come out as another vector or a different vector. And so one thing I wanted to mention is you do get a numerical answer from the dot product. Down here I have a little side note, and it's that vector A with the dot product with vector B is going to be orthogonal or perpendicular. Those two vectors are going to be perpendicular if, but only if, your dot product from vector A and vector B is equal to 0. So I'm going to show a couple things we can do here with the dot product. And one is just finding the dot product between two vectors. So just finding between vector A and vector B. And we'll say that vector A is equal to, let's say, just 3 and 4, and then vector B is going to be equal to, say, 2 and 1. And so all you're going to do is multiply your A sub 1 times your A sub B and add that to your A sub 2 times your B sub 2. So that equal to 3 times 2 plus 4 times 1. So that'll be 6 plus 4. And it's going to be equal to 10. So that would be your answer for that problem. Another thing, the dot product, you can use it when you're trying to find the angles between two vectors. It's actually also in with the magnitude of vector A and vector B. So say it said find the angle between vector A and vector B. And we'll say vector A is, let's do right as 10I minus 5J minus 2K. And vector B, we'll do something simple. Let's just do I plus J plus K. And I wanted to show that could also just be written as 10 minus 5 minus 2 and 1, 1, and 1. So the formula here is cosine of theta is equal to the dot product of vector A and vector B over the magnitude of A times the magnitude of B. And so if we'll just do the dot product here, you got 10 times 1 plus negative 5 times 1 plus negative 2 times 1, and that's all going to be over the magnitude, and just the magnitude is squaring each component of each vector, adding them together, and then you're going to multiply the two magnitudes together. So that's going to be the square root of 10 squared plus negative 5 squared plus negative 2 squared. And then that's going to be multiplied times radical 1 squared plus 1 squared plus 1 squared. So it's going to be 100 plus 25 plus 4. It's 129. So radical 129 times radical, that's 1 plus 1 plus 1, so 3. And so that would be radical, you multiply those two together, and that'll give you radical 387. So radical 387. And so we multiply that as 10 plus negative 5, which is going to give you 5, and then plus negative 2, so that would give you 3. So you have 3 over radical 387. We go back up here and plug this in. Mm-hmm. You end up with cosine theta is equal to 3 over radical 387. And you're going to divide your cosine over, so you could say that theta is equal to the cosine inverse of 3 over radical 387, and punch that in your calculator, and it's approximately 81.2 degrees, I believe. So there's another way that you can use your dot product to help you find the angle between two vectors. And then one last thing I wanted to show you is finding out whether two vectors are orthogonal, or as we said earlier, are they perpendicular. So are vectors A and vectors B orthogonal? And we said that vector A and vector B, the dot product of them have to equal 0 to find out. So an example would be if vector A, we'll say, is negative 3 and 5, and vector B is equal to 5 and 3. We'll do our dot product between vector A and vector B. It'll be negative 3 times 5 plus 5 times positive 3. Give us negative 15 plus 15. That answer is going to be 0. So therefore, we can say that vectors A and vector B are orthogonal. And that's just a couple of ways that you can use the dot product to find out if two angles are orthogonal. You can find the angles between two vectors, find out what that is, or you can just find the dot product between two vectors. And that concludes our video on the dot product. Thank you.